Hello dissenters, my name is Alex and I am here today with a Minecraft mod to show you. Today I'm going to be talking about the Catapults and Siege Engines mod by Shadow Mage. Now there are a few numbers after Shadow Mage, but Shadow Mage sounds way catchier, so that's what I'm going to call you for the convenience of this commentary. And this is a map by Andeloff. It is a castle map because we've got Catapults and Siege Engines. Why wouldn't we have something to blow up with said Siege Engines? So, it just kind of makes sense, doesn't it? So we're going to blow up this beautiful, nice, lovely castle. Nice colors, red and silver, and we got some nice wooden touches there. But anyways, we've also got some nice wooden touches on our catapult here, and we got a couple siege engines over here. We got a couple siege engines over there on the other side of the castle. I'm going to try to show you all of them as quickly as I can in this mod because it is a fairly complicated mod and it could take a little bit of time. So, here, without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. The first thing you're going to want to know about our lovely catapult here is that it's not completely static. We can actually manipulate the way that it's aiming and even right it around if we want to. We're going to right click to open up the GUI. We've got the catapult fire control here. We can turn it to the left. As you can see, it actually will rotate. And we're going to do that a little bit better example for you there. I love that everything in this mod is animated, and it is very, very detailed. We can also angle it up and down, and that's not represented on this particular siege engine. However, it will affect, where the actual ball is released, where the projectile is released from. And we can also control the power by using power up and power down. So we're going to go ahead and want to boost this as high as we can. Which should be 100 if I'm not mistaken, and we're going to want to load it with ammunition. So how we're going to do that, we're first going to grab our ammo types out of this container here. I've got a lot of items in this mod, so I'm not going to be able to explain everything. If you're familiar with my mod reviews, you know usually I do show you the recipes for the items I'm talking about in the corners of the screen for your convenience. However, there's just too many items in this mod, and it's too complicated. For example, if we just open up too many items here, if you look at the actual catapult itself, we've got the catapult here, and then there's like all of these pieces that go to it, from the turret assemblies, wooden strut. There's probably like 3 or 4 parts, and all of those have to be crafted from different things. It would just take too long. Let's get to the good stuff, shall we? So we want to take all of the shot types out of here, and we'll take a couple of the upgrades as well, and we're going to want the sticks, we're going to want the vehicle flags, we're going to want all of this stuff basically, so we're just going to go ahead and take it out. I don't want all of these, we'll just take iron tier 2 and go on. I'm just babbling, don't mind me. How we're going to load each of the siege engines that require ammunition is by holding shift and then right clicking to open up the armor upgrades and ammo menu. From here we're going to be able to place in all the different ammo types from stone shot, and let's just get as many of these as we can fit. Let's just hold off on napalm for a second and use both of these bolts. There is a limited amount of space, as you can see, obviously, and we're going to want to put in a couple upgrades. Now, as far as the upgrades are concerned, the important ones for our purposes are going to be the flag signal chart, which we want to place here. What this will allow us to do is remote control the catapult. If I just right-click it, you can see I can manually fire it from here. Let's go ahead and do that to show you what it looks like. It will launch projectile up into the castle. That stone shot will only destroy 1 block, so it is going to be difficult to see from this distance. But if we don't want to have to stare at the bottom of the catapult when we shoot, that's when the flags actually come in handy. Now, with the 2 flags, we've got the vehicle signal flag and the fire flag here. Both of these are important. We're going to left-click on the siege engine of choice to bind that particular flag to that particular siege engine. So now what we can do is remote control the siege engine with the yellow flag. I can change the options that you saw earlier. I can change the yaw left, and I can rotate it around if I want to, aim at different pieces. I can change the power, all that stuff, and even fire from here if I so choose. We can see the health here. They can be destroyed if they take too much damage, but with the red flag, we're actually going to be able to remote fire it without actually having to open any menus, and that is simply by right-clicking. So I want to angle down a little bit. It's shooting it up just a bit too high as far as I can tell. So let's see if that gives it a little bit better. I might need to aim at this tower right here. The catapult itself doesn't have great range. We've got a Trebuchet in this mod. You can actually see that block getting taken out by this particular siege engine. Now, I want you to know that this is multiplayer enabled. If you have it installed on a server, you can do this in multiplayer. So just think of all of the epic times you're going to have sieging castles. And so the reason that the stone shot only takes 1 block is because it's the easiest, and you don't want to have the whole thing just get destroyed all that time you spent building a castle, you don't want it to all go in one shot, but there are options. We've got a fire shot here. Let's go ahead and fire that one off and see what it looks like. It is on fire, and it should light a little bit of a fire in the spot that it lands on. It just happens to land on the same spot, which is fairly lucky. There was a little bit of a random deviation in the shot. Sometimes they can go left or right. They don't always hit the exact same spot. And let's go ahead and change the ammo type again to explosive and fire this one out and see it landed a bit to the right. With the basic explosive shot, what I'm going to do is turn the power way down, or excuse me, this one is power down, and show you that it only affects the ground in front of it. It doesn't affect certain block types. So now that we've changed the power, it should only go a little bit ahead of us. You can see that it did explode and do a little bit more damage to the ground. And I'll fire another one out for good measure, because why not? So what I'm going to do is change the ammo type to high explosive, and this is what we really want here. That's what's going to do a lot more damage to the castle wall once I get the power back up to where it was before. And I'm going to go ahead and turn to the left just a little bit while I power up and try to hit a different section of the castle, hopefully this tower right here, if I'm lucky. And what I'm going to do is go ahead and enable creative mode and fly up here so that we can actually watch this as it happens. We're launching the cannonball and actually watching it explode. Now, this can only be activated once every 5 seconds. However, there is an upgrade that will allow you to change that. If you look, I believe it is, which one of these? Spring-fed reloader will allow you to shoot once every 3 seconds instead of every 5 seconds. Whoa, Catapult. Hey now. That was a little close. You got a mind of your own, or what is going on here exactly? You can see the sheer amount of damage that's being done to this castle tower, and just seeing how much fun this can be, being able to actually manipulate where it's aiming in real time. Now, I do believe that I have bundles being fired from here, and what is a bundle? It's actually a volley of arrows, and what I'm going to have to do is tone that power way down so that it doesn't shoot at the castle walls quite so much. And what I'm also going to do is angle up by about 10 and then try shooting it again so that we can watch it a little bit better. Now, doesn't that look cool? Anti-personnel. So what that's going to allow you to do is kill people, or I guess Minecraftians, and animals and enemy mobs a lot more quickly than if you were trying to lob just a single projectile at them. This is going to give you more of a shotgun approach. Now, we do have one other option as far as this is concerned, and of course, that is, well, we got a napalm shot, but we also got the flaming bundle, which will just lob fire arrows out of it instead. So you can see the options here, surely. Now, the one thing I have not yet tried is the napalm shot, so we're going to go ahead and shift right-click to get back to the ammo here. Let's take out the bolt bundle and find the napalm ammo and just try to load that up. We've got the ammo type that we need to switch over to napalm shot and then see what exactly. I'm assuming it's just going to lay out like a carpet of fire. So what oh no, it's a bucket of lava. Oh, interesting. So can you imagine lobbing one of these bad boys? Let's just get all this way up to 100. People are manning their castle, trying to control the damage that you're doing, and then all of a sudden, you just lob a bucket of lava at them inside of their castle. That would cause a lot of havoc. So lots of creativity here. I love this mod a lot. I love the fact that the catapult is animated and that you can actually see it rotating around as you're aiming at different things. Now, there is one final thing I do want to show you as far as the catapult itself is concerned, and that's going to require me. Actually, there's a couple things. I was mistaken. I forgot about all of my lovely upgrades here. Now, what I want to show you first is the armor. We've got armor tier 2, and this is iron armor, and you can actually see it reflected on the catapult, which is just cool of seeing that aesthetic touch. Now, there are different types of armor, as I showed you before. Iron, stone, and obsidian. Obsidian is going to protect you from explosions. Stone is going to protect you from fire, I believe, and iron will just be basic damage, and they all do damage reduction. Now, the different tiers do have a little bit of bleeding over. So, for example, tier 3 iron armor will also protect you from a little bit of explosive and a little bit of fire, but mostly just basic damage. For example, hitting it with my diamond sword would do more damage. Now, what else I want to show you as far as the upgrades are concerned, let's go ahead and get back into the upgrades menu. We do have the Catapult motion enabler, which is just gonna be really cool. And the reason it's gonna be cool is because I can right-click this and mount it. And I'm actually riding the Catapult. Haha, I can turn it, I can drive it, it is mobile. And I can actually just move it around and bump into my... Sorry, cannon, I apologize. We can actually go up 1 block in height. If it's 2 blocks, you cannot actually surmount that obstacle, but I can drive around. You can see it's very slow, very steady, but what I like about this is it's more realistic, and the armor that I've added onto it will actually make it go slower. But I like this, and you can see it's actually tearing up the ground behind me. So many cool features. This mod author has thought of everything, making this as cool as you possibly can. Now, there are hotkeys that you can use to ride this thing around and actually control the way that the catapult will aim. Alright, so with a little bit of experimentation, I've discovered that L will turn to the right, and J will turn to the left, K and I will affect the pitch, you can see on the left-hand side. We've also got the ability to change the power on the fly. So we've got this aimed kind of at that same tower, so let's go ahead and change everything over to the right side here and try to see if we can hit this side of the wall. And by hitting N, I can actually launch an explosive charge. Actually, that's a napalm charge, I believe. So I'm just launching a bunch of lava. I'm not sure how to change the ammo type on the fly, so let's get the high explosive shot and see if we can't drive this bad boy across the water here. I believe it will actually float, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe the armor will make me sink. We're going to find out. No, I can actually just go straight across the surface of the water, I believe. We can get right up on the castle, and then we can fire our high explosive charge at the castle wall, breaching the castle wall. Can you guys see the potential here for PvP? Okay, need I say anymore? I mean, let's be honest, need I say anymore? This is just simply amazing. It's like vehicular combat, basically. The controls are complicated. Yes, they are. However, that being said, it's still really cool. Now, there is one other upgrade that I need to show you as far as driving is concerned, and I need to hold shift and right click, and I'm going to attach the turret coupling device. Now, with the turret coupling device, you'll notice that whenever I turn, the turret will actually stay with me as I turn. It's a little bit slower, but that is a little bit more realistic, so now whenever I am aiming, I don't have to use the extra keys to change which direction I'm facing. I can simply move with W, A, S, and D and then launch my shots right over my head at the direction that I am pointing at. Just a really cool feature. I love the upgrade system. It's a lot of fun. We've also got the firing solution chart, which will make things more accurate. Iron bearings, which should make me actually go faster, which I don't need the remote control anymore. High quality pulleys, which will give me 10% increase in distance of my shots. And of course, spring-fed reloader, which will increase the speed at which I can fire. So now I should be quicker. Let's go ahead and test this out. You can already see that I am traveling faster on the catapult. So now that we've done with the catapult, I want to show you the cannon. Now, this is going to be a lot quicker because the cannon is basically a miniature catapult. I don't know if you can drive it around or not. That would be kind of silly, I guess. Let's see. There are slots for it, so I don't know. I have to try it. I must try this. So I've got a catapult motion enabler. Yes, I can actually push the cannon around. It is very unwieldy. I'm trying to turn it, but it's turning me instead of the actual cannon, so a little bit wonkier. Would not recommend trying to drive the cannon. However, you can do the same thing as far as aiming it, and of course, firing it. However, I have to actually add ammo to it. The long story short is that it's basically the catapult. It's just this tinier version, so if you make a castle and you want to have your castle walls lined with something, you can actually put the cannons on there. They're a lot smaller and easier to manage, but they do effectively the same thing, just a different skin. So now that I've shown you both of these projectile launchers, let's go on to another siege engine. Now the first one I'm going to show you is the battering ram, and I've already got it set up here for you. Look at the models. They just look really, really cool, and what we can actually do is mount this as well and drive it around with WASD. Let's say that there was actually a door here, and let's just hit this wall instead. What I'm going to do is use N, I believe, to hit the wall, and it should break the stone if I'm not mistaken. Let's try that one more time. It might have been just a little bit glitchy. Yeah, there we go. You can see that block actually break underneath it. It will kill any entities that are in front of it as well. You just have to be fairly close to this to make the blocks break. Now, the battering ram is a little bit touchy. You kind of have to be just hitting the block that you want to hit in just the right way, or else it kind of gets just a little bit upset. Let's see if we can destroy any of these blocks. It just seems a little bit finicky, but the idea is pretty solid, being able to just bring this up, and I can see the blocks underneath that are actually getting hit, and let's go ahead and dismount off of this. Very simple, but very effective if you just want to get up close and personal on an enemy keep. Now, we've got a few weapons here. We've got, of course, the Trebuchet. very nicely modeled, as are the rest of these. The ballista and weapon, I can't even remember what this one is called, to be perfectly honest. I feel like it's the Kwacha, which is a Korean rocket launcher, basically. And I'm going to show you how all three of these work. My mistake, this was actually the Hwacha with an H. However, it is still a Korean rocket launcher. Now, the first thing I'm going to show you is actually we have to get some pieces out of this particular chest. Go ahead and put these signal flags up. We've got a couple more signal flags. We got some ammunition, a triple shot fling. What is that? Some ballista bolts and some landmines. I'm not going to really show you the landmines in detail here. We might touch on them here in a second, but they're landmines. I think you can guess what they do. It seems like every mod nowadays has landmines. Now, I've also got sticks here. It's important to note that when you're looking, you can see health. So let me go ahead and hit this trebuchet a little bit with the sword, and you can see that the health has decreased, but simply by hitting it with the sticks, it should actually be healing it. So it just, well, actually, you know what? It doesn't seem to be doing anything. I read that sticks are supposed to repair these objects, but it might only repair the catapult. I'm not entirely sure. But let's go ahead and load this bad boy up with some high explosive stone and fire shots, and go ahead and get my vehicle flags linked in to this trebuchet. And now we can effect, let's just go ahead and fire one shot. So now that I have remembered to actually attach the flag signal chart, which will allow us to use the flags, I can remote control and launch the high explosive shells into the wall of the castle. You can see that it is very well animated, just like you would expect a real trebuchet to be. The mod author has gone through painstaking work to make this all look as good as it possibly can. Now, I don't believe that you can actually move the trebuchet. I'm kind of like sitting inside of it. I'm not sure why I would actually mount it. I suppose so I can use the keybind, since that'll be faster than right-clicking it, so I could do that if I wanted to, and turn it to the side and launch it manually. Oh no, I'm being smashed by the weight. But I think you guys get the idea. The trebuchet is basically the same thing as the catapult. The main difference is that it has much longer range than the catapult will have, and of course you can actually upgrade this. The armor doesn't work on it, I don't believe, but you can upgrade it with the other things, such as, you know, the reloader that'll make it shoot faster, so on and so forth. So moving on to the ballista here, we're going to load this bad boy up with ballista bolts, and we have two different types, flaming and regular, and we can also upgrade this with different things if I want spring-fed reloaders, so on and so forth. Oh, there's one thing I forgot to show you. This is very important. Very, very important. Let's get that triple shot upgrade here and fire this bad boy off, because why have one explosive when you can launch 3 at the same time? Need I say more? So let's turn this over to the left a little bit and have it fire again so that we can actually see it and follow it as it launches 3 high explosive rounds simultaneously. 1, a 2, a 3. It's just cool. It's just cool. What? This mod, so much fun. Now, I do want to use the ballista here. I've already got it aimed up. We're going to increase the power a little bit and do a quick test shot. We can actually see it launch the ballista bolt out at, I don't know what the real benefit of this is. I guess if you want to pinpoint accuracy, take down people, I'm sure this would do a ton of damage to them. But we can switch over to the flaming ballista bolt and manually fire it, since I already have the flags attuned to the trebuchet over there. I don't know what good the ballista's for. I'm not sure what the benefit of using it is. However, this is my favorite. This is clearly, without a doubt, the best item or siege engine in the game, and I will show you why. We're going to get to the bolt single shot. We got flaming and regular as usual. I falsely assumed that since this has so many arrows inside of it that it would be using the bundles, but it uses the ballista bolts, the same ammunition. But there is one key difference between the two, which makes this clearly superior to the ballista in my opinion. Now, we've got the bolt single shots in there right now, and we're going to go ahead and increase the power just a little bit, but we're also going to angle it up so that it doesn't go straight into the castle. Now watch as I fire this bad boy off. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Look how awesome that is. They are rocket propelled. That is so cool. Let's turn this over to the right. Actually, it doesn't seem to be animated for some reason. I wonder where it will actually fire. No, you can't actually aim it, it seems. I wonder if I can... I think I may be out of ammunition. It shoots a lot at the same time. So let's go ahead and mount this, and I can turn it. Just tell me this isn't amazing. Tell me this isn't amazing. So what I want to do is actually remote control this bad boy, and we want to dismount off of this. We are going to need 2 more flags because the 2 flags that I have are already bound. So now that I have the flag signal chart on the Hwacha and I have my flags bound to it, I can launch it from a distance and watch as all of these beautiful projectiles shoot one after the other, and they actually are rocket propelled so that you can affect how long they are being powered by the rocket. What I mean by that is if I go down, I don't even have to, I can use the flag here. I can actually power it down, and that'll make the smoke particles shorter, which means that they won't be propelled as far. You can actually see it represented on the screen, and you can see that they will go a lot. How many? I think I'm out of ammunition actually, so let's go ahead and switch fire types through the flaming ones. Oh man, oh baby. So you can see it will land a lot shorter. So I'm going to increase the power again. Let's just get it to, I'm not going to get it to 100%, but let's just see how far it will actually go. We can't aim any higher. It is limited by the size of it. It makes sense. All of it is very realistic and faithfully rendered in the game. So cool. I really have no words for how awesome this is. Love this mod. Those are all of the siege weapons, the siege engines in this particular mod at the moment. Hope that you go try out this mod for yourself. Play it in some PvP. And if you do, I want to see how awesome this could be if two people make their own castles, have their own armies, and they just go to war with siege engines. It would be really cool. Anyways, guys, I want to thank you very much for watching this video. Links are in the description if you want to check this stuff out for yourself, be it the map or the mod, both are there. Thank you guys for watching. My name is Italics, and I will see you next time.